Hi, seventh graders. So we are going to be digging deep into your books, really looking at the historical characters that are described in your chosen historical fiction book. And we're going to be using a new Google product, well, it's new for us, called Jamboard. And it allows us to create a multi-layer shared slideshow. So a Jamboard is kind of like an electronic mini whiteboard where you're going to be putting images and sticky notes on it to describe the main character or characters from your book. And it's just a simple way, because what we want to look at is, what does your character look like, or what could your character possibly look like. So on this particular video, you're just going to, I'm going to take you step by step on how to use Jamboard. It's super simple, and then we'll take a look at some of the characters that I created for my Jamboard. So this is a completed Jamboard, and I just want to go over some of the features. You'll see that the most important thing right now, right here, is this is how you add additional slides or boards to a Jamboard. Since this is one that I've already completed, you're going to see that what I did is I found an image of a character from the book Milkweed that I'm reading. Originally, his name was Stop Thief. He is renamed Misha Pilsudski from one of his friends. But the thing that's important for the reader to visualize is that this character, Misha, lives in the 1939 Warsaw Polish ghetto in Warsaw, Poland. So this is an actual image of a young child in the Warsaw ghetto. So it's a pretty accurate depiction of what Misha might look like. So I created the green square, this one right here, using a sticky note, and that's part of the Jamboard toolbox. And over here is the directions using a different color sticky note. So basically it's pictures, sticky notes, and a few other tools, and I'm going to take you step by step through each tool. So once you get into the Jamboard, you're going to start off seeing my Jamboard of Misha Pilsudski. And at the top right here, you're going to see a tool that allows you to go back and forth between slides. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you open up my Jamboard is to select the right-hand arrow so you can add another slide to this Jamboard. So here's a blank Jamboard. You'll see that I've changed the board by using my right-hand arrow, and we're going to look at some of the tools. So first, right here we have the pen or pencil. We have an eraser. We have an arrow. And then we have a laser pointer. And if you were presenting your Jamboard, you could use a laser pointer to point out different things that you have on your board. And then lastly, which will be our next slide, are additional tools. So in addition to the pen and the eraser, once you hit the plus button, you're going to come up with a sticky note. That's where you're going to be writing your text. And then images. And what I like about this image tool is that it's searchable. So when I looked for that picture of Misha Pilsudski, I typed in the search bar 1939 Warsaw Ghetto Child, and that's what came up. Drive content would be something that you have in Google Drive. You can actually take an actual picture using your built-in camera, or if you have images already in your iPad library, you can use those. And then lastly, we have some stickers. So we're probably going to spend most of our time on this Jamboard using sticky notes and images. So I selected the image tool, and I want to just do a quick sample of creating a Jamboard of a different time period. So I chose the Salem witch trials, and I even spelled it wrong. I spelled it with trials, but they can figure it out in a Google search. So I was looking at the book Invisible World by Suzanne Wayne, and I wanted to find a typical picture of a girl or a woman that would live in 1693 to give you a sense of what she looked like. So this popped up my search. It had the courtroom. It had, a newspaper article. But what I particularly liked was it had an image of a girl in her historical dress. So all you need to do is literally tap on the picture and drag it to your board. Once you have your image, then you're going to want to go back to the plus button and the tools and select sticky note, and you can change the color. The default is yellow, but by touching the little dot right here, you can change the color of your dot, and then you would just size it by pinching and pulling it with your thumb and your index finger. So once you add a note, your keyboard will pop up, and what you're going to do for this part of the Jamboard is you're just going to label this picture. So you'll see in the next slide how I labeled the main character of Invisible World. So I have created my caption for my photo, Elsbeth from the Invisible World by Suzanne Wayne. Elsbeth is an 18-year-old girl living through the Salem witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts, 1693. In order for this sticky note to attach itself to my Jamboard, I just hit the check mark, and then it becomes part of my board. So here's a really simple Jamboard. I wanted to show what a girl living in the 1690s would look like. So you see that with this illustration. It's going to be an illustration and not a photograph because cameras weren't a thing back then. So I wanted to show the costume, the type of clothing that they would wear, and what it kind of looked like to be involved in the Salem witch trials. And then I have a simple caption using a sticky note that tells my viewer what I am looking at. So this is what a Jamboard is. It's just a way for all of us to have all of our slides on the same shared document. So if we were to go backwards on this Jamboard, the first one that you would see would be my Misha Pilsudski. The second one would be Elsbeth. And then as each of you adds a slide to this Jamboard, we'll have one document with all of your characters. So your job right now is to think about the main character, and if you want to do more than one character from your book, that's great. So you're going to create a board or a slide using this Jamboard document. You're going to create a new one. Please don't put it on somebody else's work. And it's important, since we're doing a shared document with Jamboard, make sure you put your name on it, on your board, so we know who did it. You're going to be finding an image or images of a picture that you feel represents the main character or characters of your book, and whatever pictures that you create or you find, then make sure that you label them with a caption that tells the name of the character, the name of the book and the author, the time period, place and dates, as much information as you can. But it's not a paragraph, it's just a photo caption. So let's have some fun with Jamboard. It's something new we're going to try, and hopefully we can all have a good time working together.